Yesterday we have seen one HR related BAPI. Okay. So in continuation to this standard BAPIs, let us see one BAPI related to SD module. So we have a T code called as VA01, okay, for creating the sales order. So the transaction code is VA01. This is for creating the what? Sales order. So already we know the related database tables for sales orders, like what are the database tables we have for sales order. Header data we have VBAK, like that. We have many tables. For item data we have what? VBAP. Like that we have many sales orders related tables. Okay. So already we know how to identify the BAPIs in a given transaction code. So in this transaction code, let us take one BAPI. So for that, we already know the process. We need to identify the program of the transaction. Yeah. So if I go to SC93, what is the transaction code? VA01 for creating the sales orders. So if I display for this particular transaction code, the program name is SAP MV45A. So for this program, we need to identify the what package name. So the program name is SAP MV45A. And then for this program, if you see the package, how do we identify the package here? If you double click on the program, for this program, we need to identify the package. So choose the menu, go to attributes. What is the package name here? VA. Package name is VA. So once we collect the package name, in that particular package, we need to identify the business object types. Okay, so let us identify the business object types. So where do we identify? In object navigator? So if I go to SC80 object navigator, right? So from the drop down, let me choose package. I'll give the package name as what? VA. Provide the package name. When I press enter, it is going to display all the objects related to this package. So under this business engineering, right? Under business engineering, under what? Business object types. If I expand, it is showing many business object types. Okay, bus 2030, bus 2031, 2032, like that. We have many business object types. So let me double click on this bus 2032, or else what you have to do, once we correct the business object type, we have to go to what? SW01. From there we can identify the business objects. Okay, so let me, or else here only I can double click instead of going to SW01. From this object navigator only, if I double click on that, we can identify the business object name associated with this particular business object type. So let me double click on bus 2032. Yeah, this is the business object bus 2032, right? Under this business object, if I expand this methods, so what is the business object name here? The business object name is sales order. Sales order is a business object name. So business object type is bus 2032, and the business object name is what? Sales order. Understood? In this, we have different, one business object might contain what? N number of API methods. So you can see, as part of this business object sales order, we have many API methods. So if you see this API method, sales order dot create from dat1, create from dat1, what is this? Create sales order. Okay, so if I double click on this create from dat1, yeah, you can see it, create from dat1, it is absolute. This API method is absolute, means currently it is supported. In future versions, SAP may not support this. So for this API method, What is the corresponding BAPI function model? If you go to this ABAP tab, the BAPI function model is BAPI underscore sales order underscore create from dat1. Let me cancel this. Similarly, we have another API method, sales order dot create from dat2. Sales order create sales order. So if I double click on this create from dat2, right, it is not showing it as absolute. Okay, so it is, we can use this particular API method and the corresponding BAPI function. Earlier one also we can use, but it is showing the status as what absolute means. Currently it is supported. In future versions SAP may not support that. In Java.NET we call them as what deprecated. Here we call them as what absolute. Done. So if I go to, for this API method also, if I go to ABAP tab, what is the function model? BAPI underscore sales order underscore create from dat2. Okay, what is the purpose of this? It is used for creating the sales order. Okay, so the API method is create from dat2. Create from dat2 is a API method, and the corresponding BAPI function module is what? BAPI underscore sales order underscore create from what? Dat2. This is the BAPI function model. It is used for creating the sales order, right? So let us see how to use this particular BAPI. Understood. So this is the BAPI related to which transaction code? VA01. So as I told you earlier in the previous sessions, we have to coordinate with the functional consultant to understand how to use this particular transaction code. So earlier we have seen some FI related T code like FI01, create bank. And then we discussed what material MM related, MM01, create material. Then in the last session, we have seen one HR related BAPI. What is the T code? We have seen PA30. Similarly, we have the T code what? VA01 for creating the sales order. So if I go to VA01, it is used for creating the sales order. So for creating the sales orders, we have many dependencies are there. So I cannot show it practically because we need to configure many dependencies here. You know, it is a job of what? Functional consultant. But in the real time, what I told, it is better we know how to use this particular transaction code. So we have to coordinate with the functional consultant. He will guide you how to use the screens within that particular transaction code. So let me check the document. Let me check the signature of this function model. So if I go to SC37, BAPI underscore sales order underscore create from what? Dat2. So a BAPI is nothing but what? A function model. So if I display this, yeah, see here, create sales order. What are the mandatory parameters? If you go to import, yeah, in the import section, there is only one mandatory parameter. What is this? Order underscore header underscore in like so on. So what is this? This is a mandatory. It is basically a structure, I believe. If I double click on this, yes, it is a structure which has got around 125 fields. So I need to prepare the work area of so and so structure and pass it. This is a mandatory parameter. If you go to export, yeah, in the export you can see here, it is going to return me the number of the generated sales order. If the sales order is successfully created, whatever the sales order it has created, that sales order number it is going to return. And if you see the changing section, nothing is there. Tables, yeah, in the tables you can see here we have one return parameter. Already we know every BAPI contains one return parameter. It is a what type here? BAPI red2. This, it is an internal table basically. So might be it might going to return multiple messages. That's why they gave it as what? Tables. In the earlier examples, what are the 4 5 standard BAPIs we have seen earlier? In that also we have the return parameter, but it is not under tables tab. It was under export to tab. So there it was returning only a single message. But here probably this particular BAPI might return multiple messages. That's why they gave it as what? Internal table. So we are going to use this particular internal table. And in the tables, there is one more mandatory parameter, order underscore partners like so and so. So here I need to prepare an internal table of this structure, BAPI partner, okay, which has what around 37 fields. So we need to prepare these two mandatory parameters. One is work area under import, and under tables I need to prepare an internal table of this type and pass it. But as I told you earlier, before working with any standard BAPIs, first we need to check the signature. That is, we need to check what are the mandatory, what are the optional parameters, what are the data type of the mandatory parameters. And apart from that, the most important thing is we need to check whether SAP has given any documentation for that particular BAPI. If the documentation is given compulsory, we need to read and analyze the documentation. Then only we will get some information how to use that particular BAPI. If there is no documentation available, we can't do anything. Just we need to on trial and error basis, we need to try to pass the data for the mandatory parameters. If it is working fine, if it doesn't work, try to pass the data for other optional parameters till our requirement is met. So let me check whether this BAPI function model has got any documentation. How do you check it? I'll put the cursor in the function model level. I'll choose the menu, go to documentation. Yeah, you can see they gave the documentation here. So the purpose of this documentation is for ABAP concern only. We need to read it, analyze, and based on that input, we have to use that particular BAPI. Okay. So create sales order functionality. You can use this method to create what? Sales orders. Okay. So you can see here, you must enter at least sales order header data via order underscore header underscore in structure, and the partner data via order underscore partner tables as input parameters. So anyhow, those two are mandatory now. One is the header data. This is mandatory. I need to prepare a work area. Another is what? I need to prepare an internal table because it is under tables. That's what the documentation is saying. So we need to pass sales order header data and the partner data itself. And you can see here, enter the item data via order underscore items underscore in table. So sales order means you'll have the header data and what item data. We know header data table is VBAK, item data table is VBAP. It is asking enter the item data via order underscore items underscore in table. So it is under tables itself. Under tables you can see item data is there. If you want, we can pass the item data. I know it is optional, so I may or may not use. I will not use it initially. Let's see whether we can create the sales order or not. Then what else? You can allocate item numbers manually by filling the relevant fields, or the system does it according to the settings in the customization. Okay. If you have configurable items, you must enter the configuration data via so and so tables. Credit cards can be transferred via so and so. Done. Okay. Once you have created the sales order successfully, okay, once you have created the sales order successfully, you will receive the document number. Okay. Any errors that may occur will be announced via the return parameter. Yes, anyhow, we know the return parameter will hold the execution status of the BAPI. That's what they're saying. Yeah. If no sales area has been created in the sales order header, if no sales area has been created in the sales order header, then the system creates a sales area from the sold to party or shipped to party who has been entered in the partner table. If a clear sales area cannot be created, you will receive a system message and the sales order will not be created. Notes, mandatory entries. Acha. So see this. By Signature, we understood that this is the mandatory parameter. I need to prepare a work area of this type now, which is going to carry the sales order, what? Header data. So if I double click on this, it has got how many fields? 125 fields. I don't know for what fields, what are the minimum fields for which I need to set the data. Work area will carry all the 125 fields, but I may or may not enter the data for all the fields. So what are the minimum fields that we need to consider? That they gave in the documentation. So if you see the documentation here, mandatory entries in the order underscore header underscore in, we have to enter sales document type, it seems, sales organization, it seems, distribution channel, and what division. Okay, so out of 125 fields, they are the minimum four fields. What are the minimum fields? Four fields here: sales document type, sales organization, distribution channel, and what division. Out of 125, these four are minimum, it seems. Okay, done. Next, what else? In the order underscore partners, partner role and a customer number, partner role and partner number. So if you see the another mandatory parameter, this one, document partner, this is also mandatory. What is the structure of this internal table? If I double click on this, yes, it has got around 37 fields. Out of 37 fields, which fields I have to enter? I don't know. So from the documentation, they are clearly saying to enter what? Partner number and what? Partner role and what? Partner number. Out of 37, these two are what? Minimum, it seems. Done. Next, what else? Order items. If you want to pass the data for this optional parameter, we can pass the material number, ship to party. Okay, done. Commit control. The BAPI does not have a database commit. Understood? They're talking about the commit. The BAPI does not have a commit, does not have a database commit. This means that the relevant application must leave the commit in order that can be carried out on the database. Sold to party, shipped to party, all these are functional terminologies. So if you know SD module, we will understand what is this partner role, partner number, ship to party, sold to party. For that, you need to learn the SD module. Okay, so we are not getting into functional aspects. We are trying to understand only the technical aspects. Understood? So generally the ship to party, sold to party is nothing but the customer number. So if you want exactly what it is, where to create all those segments, for that we should have a strong knowledge of SAP SD module. Okay. Right. So what it is saying here, the BAPI does not have a database commit. The BAPI does not have a database commit. This means that the relevant application must leave the commit. Means what is saying is the BAPI will not perform any database commit. It seems our application should perform the commit. Yeah. So scroll down here. They give some information for document type. Example, they give TA, partner role W for ship to party. Okay, you can find further information. That's it. Okay, so from the documentation, we understood what are the mandatory fields you have to give. Understood. So to understand this terminology, partner function, partner role, ship to party, a sales organization, distribution channel, division, okay, sales area, sales group, all those things, we should have strong knowledge of SAP SD model. It is a functional model. Okay, right. So let us try to call this particular BAPI function. So initially what I'll do is I'll try to pass the data only for the mandatory parameters. Let's see whether it is going to create the sales order or. So before I do that, what are the sales order related tables? VBAK and what? VBAP. So if you go to ABAP dictionary S11, we have the table VBAK. What is that? Sales document header data. Okay, how many entries are there in this table? 10,523. So let me document that. So in the VBAK table, we have something 10,523 entries. This is in VBAK table, 10,523. Similarly, let me open the item table also. Sales document item data. If I go to the contents, number of entries are 18,640. 18,640 is the number of entries. Right. So let us create the executable program for using this particular standard BAPI, which creates a sales order. So initially what I'll do is I'll try to pass the data only for the mandatory parameters. One is sales order header data, another is sales order partner data. I will not pass the item data. Anyhow, in the documentation also, we understood that they are the two mandatory parameters. What are they? Sales order header and sales order item. So what is the last program number? 6, I think. So let me go for 7. So go to SC38 Z BAPI 7. Create sales order with what? Header data. Type of program is executable program. Right. So what is the first mandatory parameter that we need to prepare? This one in the import section. We have order underscore header underscore in, which is mandatory parameter. So let me copy this. I have to prepare the work area. Na? So work area. The first step is prepare what? Work area containing what? Sales order header data. Containing sales order header data. Okay. So data w underscore order underscore header type. What is the type of that? This one, BAPI SDHD1. Done. Let us prepare w underscore order underscore header hyphen. So this work area, this structure, it is carrying how many fields? If I double click, it carries what? 125 fields. From the documentation, we understood what are the fields I have to give. Document type, it seems, sales organization, distribution channel, and what? Division. Right? Doc underscore type, sales underscore organization, distribution underscore channel, division. So I'll set the values only for what? These 4 fields. So in the real time also, in the project also, whenever you're working with the standard BAPIs, when you need to prepare the mandatory parameters, that mandatory parameter structures might contain many fields. For what fields you have to give the data means we have to coordinate with the functional consultant. He will tell you what are the minimum fields required to create a sales order header data. Understood? Or else from the documentation we understood, we have seen the documentation. If I go to documentation, they are clearly saying what are the mandatory entities, document type, sales organization, distribution and division. In case if the documentation doesn't provide that information, there is no other way. We have to coordinate with the functional consultant to understand what are the minimum fields we have to provide. Anyhow, yesterday we have taken the file now. So depending on the file data, the functional consultant will explain you the file data, what data is there in the file. Based on that, we need to consider the appropriate fields. So in this, I need to provide document type, sales organization, distribution channel, and what? Division. So let me provide what are the field names. Doc underscore type, sales underscore or, DASTR underscore channel, and division. All are character fields. Character of 4, character of 4, character of 2, character of 2. So what I'll do is, let me prepare the work area with those 4 fields. Doc underscore type equal to, I'll give something TA. So how do I know this value means? We have to coordinate with the functional consultant. He will provide you the sample data. Or else, in your yesterday we have seen, if the data is there in the file, we have to read the data from the file to the internal table. We have to loop that internal table into work area, map the appropriate work area fields to this particular field. Okay, since here I am not considering the file here, I'm going to create a single sales order. So I'm hard coding the data within the program. What is the next one here? Sales underscore organization. So I have to give the sales organization. So documentation is not providing that information. If I go to documentation, yeah, this parameter contains data for the sales document header. You can find information explaining the meaning of interpreting the relevant data in the ABAP dictionary. Okay, so here I don't have much information. I'll just put the cursor in the function model level, go to documentation. So you can see here document type, sales organization, distribution channel, division. So if you scroll down here, yeah, only document type they gave it as what TA. Sales organization, distribution channel, division. I need to collect it from the functional consultant. I need to provide the data. So sales organization, in my case, I'll give 1000. Then W underscore what? Order underscore W underscore order underscore header hyphen. What is the next field you have seen? Distribution channel. Distribution channel equal to, I'll give something 10. Okay, W underscore order underscore header hyphen. What is the division? Equal to I'll give what something 00. So on what basis I gave this data means one answer is we are in the projects you have to coordinate with the functional consultant. We need to collect this data from the functional consultant, or if the data is there in the file, just read the data from the file and map it here. Here, when you're practicing, how do you provide the data means on what basis I gave means. See, if you go to VBAK table, already we have many entries in the table. Na? We have many entries in the table, around 10,000 entries. Okay, so in this table, you can see we have those fields. What are they? Sales document type. What is this? Character of 4. If I scroll down, what is this? Sales organization, distribution channel, and what? Division. Right? So if I go to contents, right? If I execute, it will show the first 200 records. It is showing all the fields. I'm not interested in all the fields. Let me consider those 4 fields. How do I filter? Settings, format list, choose fields. Let me deselect everything. I'll select only the sales document number. What else I want? Sales document type. Then I'm interested in what? Sales organization, right? Distribution channel and division. So when I apply, it is going to show me the first 200 records. Execute. Yeah, I can see here in my table. Okay, AURT, what is there here? OR is there. OR is there 101000, 101200. So you take these combinations from the table. I also took the same thing. Understood? What are the sample data I gave? I gave 101000. 101000. So from where I took from the table only 101000. Like that, you take different combinations and try to do R&D on that. Understood? So here, since we don't have any functional consultant, I have taken the entries from the what from the table. I have taken the what input from the existing entries, right? So like this, you need to collect the data and practice, right? So I prepared the header data. In the header data, we have what 4 fields. Done. What is the next mandatory parameter according to the signature? Yeah, in the tables, I need to prepare this internal table now. What is this? Partner data, it seems. Okay, internal table which is going to hold the partner. It is under table. So I need to prepare a internal table, BAPI partner. Okay, so if I go to, yeah, so what is the next step here? Prepare internal table containing what? Document partner data. Containing document partner data. So data T underscore partners type table of so on. So I require a work area to prepare the internal table. Na? W underscore partners type BAPI partner. So I prepared the internal table and work area. So in this, what is the structure of this internal table? If I double click, it has got around 37 fields. I don't know for which fields I need to provide the data. But from the documentation, they are sorry. From the documentation, they clearly mention that. What is that they mention? If you go to put the cursor here, if I choose go to documentation, yeah, in this we have to enter what? Partner role and partner number. Partner role and partner number. So what is the partner role they gave here? WE. Okay, example WE. Okay, similarly, partner number is nothing but customer number. In VBA table, we have the field what? Customer number. So here, let me prepare that. So W underscore partners hyphen what is that field name? This one, partner role and partner number. Partner role equal to, I'll give something AG. I collected this from the table. Okay, W underscore partners hyphen what is the next field? Partner number. No? Partner role and partner NUMB, right? Yeah, partner underscore role, partner underscore num, nothing but the customer number. So partner function done. I'll give the customer number. So customer number is character of 10. So I'll give an existing customer 1000. Understood? In the VBAK table, we have the field Kunnar, nothing but the customer number. Done. I have to append, I have to prepare the internal table. Append W underscore partners to T underscore partners. I repeat, this is not so simple. This data, we need to collect it from the table. Okay, so it may not work for all the entries also. That also I'm saying. When I execute here, I'm having different combinations. Every combination may not work. Till you get that, you have to keep on trialing. So I have done it offline. So this is the combination which is working. Right. So this is the sample data I gave. Done. After this, what else? I'm interested to receive the sales document number which it is going to return. If you see the export section, it is going to return me what? The number of what? Generated document. So I'm interested to receive the sales document number. So let me declare the variable data v underscore weblen type so and so. Done. Then what else? I'm interested to receive the status also. Status is under tables. Na? So I need to declare the internal table of what type? BAPI red2. So let me declare data T underscore what return type table of BAPI red2. I'll declare the, yeah, I require the work area. So I'll say W underscore return type BAPI red2. So I declare the internal table and work area. That's it now. Yeah, that's all. Now let us call this particular function model to create the sales order. So while creating the sales order, I'm supplying only the sales order header data. I'm not supplying the item data. So let me go to pattern. What is the function model? BAPI underscore sales order underscore create from dat to done. So the next step is we are trying to create the sales order with header data. With header data done. So sales document number it is going to return. So I'm not interested this. Order header in. What is the work area? W underscore order underscore header. It is mandatory parameter which we prepared. Then this are all optional. Importing. It is going to return the generated sales document number, na? Right? So let me use v underscore what? Weblen. Done. Return. I'm interested to check the status. I'll receive this in the internal table. T underscore what written and items I'm not passing. Items indicators we are not passing. Order partners we have to pass now. It is mandatory. Order partners. What is the internal table here? T underscore partners. T underscore what? Partners. Done. Yeah, all these are optional. Understood. So if you want, we can pass this data also. So if you have the data with you, we can pass these parameters also. The data will go and sit in appropriate tables. That's it. Done. And we have seen the documentation. I don't have any parameter. Okay, in the function model, I don't have any parameter which is talking about commit. And even when you read the documentation, they are clearly saying that, yeah, they are clearly saying the BAPI does not have what? Database commit, right? So SAP is not going to do any implicit commit. We have to do the explicit commit. How do you do the explicit commit? Already we know. You have to call the function model BAPI underscore transaction underscore commit. So here I'll say save the changes to what? Database. Save the changes to database. Done. Let us call the function model BAPI underscore transaction underscore commit. BAPI underscore transaction underscore commit. There are no mandatory parameters, so I'll just remove all this. It's done. Okay. Then here for our understanding, I'll say generated sales document number. Generated sales document number. I'm going to receive the sales document number in which field v underscore weblen. Understood? It is going to return what? The generated sales document number which I am receiving in that field. Done. Next, similarly, I want to print the status. If any status are there, I'll get the status also. Let me print it. Format color 7. Here I'll just give, already we know all these things. We have seen multiple examples earlier. BAPI execution status. Done. So what are the fields we need to consider? It is an internal table. Understood? Because it might return multiple messages. That's why they gave it in the form of internal table. So internal table means I need to loop it. Na? So loop at t underscore return into what is the work area we declare w underscore return. What are the fields we need to consider here? Type and message. Na? Already we know, right? Type is what? W underscore return hyphen type, whether it is successful, errors, warnings, abort, it is going to return. Sometimes it returns what? Space, message. W underscore return hyphen what? Message. Hyphen message. That's all. We're done. I'll switch off the color, format color off. That's it. Okay, so let's see whether the sales order will be created or not. I got an error. Why I got the error? Incorrect nesting. I started the loop. I have not closed the loop. End loop. Save it. Check for the syntax. Activate. So what is the approach we followed here? We read the documentation. We analyze the signature. There are two mandatory parameters. One is the header data, another is what? Partner data. So I gave this data by collecting it from the table. We have different combinations at the table level, existing entries. I collected from there, I gave it. So you also, when you're practicing, refer to the tables, corresponding tables, and collect it. But in the real time, generally this test data will be given by whom? By the functional consultant, because we don't know what is the sales organization, where to check that, what is this, where to check. We don't know all these things. So that information will be provided by what? Functional consultant, or if it is there in the file, directly we can read the data from the file. That's it. So let's execute this. So earlier, so while creating the sales order, I'm supplying only the header data. How many records are there in this table, header table? 10,523. I think already I made a note, 10,523. Let's see whether we can create the sales order or not. Right, I'll execute this. I'm executing. Good. You can see our generated sales document number is what? 15439. 15439. 15439 is a generated sales document number. Did I got any messages here? Scroll down. Good. It is returning me multiple messages. Type yes, sales order header in has been processed successfully. Done. Standard order 15439 has been saved. So it has successfully created the sales order. So if I go to VBAK table, yeah, how many entries? 10,524. Earlier, how many entries are there? 10,523. Now I got 10,523. 524, right? What is the sales document number which got created? I made a note of that, right? 15439, 15439. So what is the field which stores the sales document number? VBLN. So 15 what 439, execute. Yes, 15439, done. So I got this 101000 done. Okay. Let me filter with all the fields. Settings, format list, choose fields. Let me select everything here. Execute. Yeah, today only 27/5/2022. I got some server time here. Leave it. Okay, done. So 15439 successfully created. Right. So the sales order is created in the header table. Let me check the item table. In the item table, it should not be there. So if I go to VBAP table, number of entries are what? 18,640. Earlier also what? 18,000 what? 640 only. Why? Because while creating the sales order, I have not supplied what? Item data. Understood? That's why it is not creating that in the item table. What is the sales order? 15439. So if I give the same sales document number in VBAP table, when I execute, yes, it is saying that no table entries, because simple analysis is what? While creating the sales order to that particular BAPI function model, we are passing only the header data. That's why we got it. Understood? So yesterday or day before yesterday, we have seen that material. So if I pass material data and material descriptions, the data is going and sitting in what? Mara table and MAKT table. While calling that BAPI, if you supply the plant data, data will go and sit in MARC table also. Like that, what is the understanding is, depending upon the parameters we pass at the time of calling the BAPI function model, the data will go and sit in what? Relevant tables. Now what I'll do is, do we have time? Yeah, now what I'll do is, I'll make a copy of this program. I'll try to create the sales order both with header data as well as what? Item data. So that the data should go and sit in what? Item table also. So let me make a copy of this program. I'll not disturb this program. I'll make a copy of this. ZBAPI 7. I'll copy to ZBAPI 8. Create sales order with header data and what? Item data. I'm just changing the program title. Done. So everything will remain same. The only so item data means what is the parameter here? In the import, this is the header data. In the tables, if you see, yeah, this is item data. Understood? Item data. Any documentation is there? If I click on this button, long text, this parameter contains item input data for the sales order. Okay, I don't have much information. Right, so I need to pass the item data. Item data. If I go back to the documentation, yeah, enter the item data via what? Order underscore items underscore in table. You can allocate the item numbers manually. So we can allocate the item numbers manually, and you can see here what are the mandatory entries. Here, item number we have to allocate manually, and material also we have to input in the order underscore items underscore in. We have to input the material number. So here also, okay. So if I double click on this, it has got 199 fields. Again, we don't know what data we have to provide. So we have to coordinate with the functional consultant, we have to give it. So from the documentation, I understood that I have to provide the item number and what? Material number. Item number is num_c, material is what? Character of 18. So I'll try to provide these two. Item underscore number and what? Material. Done. So I need to prepare the internal table. Okay, let's prepare it. So I'll go back. I made a copy now. So somewhere here, I'll prepare the item data. Prepare internal table containing what? sales order item data. Data T underscore items. Type table of, what is that? This one. Done. I'll declare the work area. W underscore items. Type what? So and so. Done. Okay. Okay. I'll say W underscore items hyphen. What are the fields we identified just now? In this, we have what? Item underscore number, ITM underscore number, and material. Okay. Both are numsy and what? Character. Item underscore number and material number. So item underscore number equal to, I'll give the item number as something 10, and I have to give the material W underscore items hyphen material equal to, it is character of 18. It is character of 18. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'll give the material number as 578. So how do I know this material number means? We have to collect it from the functional consultant or go to what? VBAP table. If you go to VBAP table, which contains what? Item weight. Already there are many entries now. So if I execute this, okay, you can see here item number 10, material number, like this. We have many item numbers and material numbers. So collect some entry and try to do R&D on that. So I collected some material number 578 and prepare that. So it is an internal table now. So let me append W underscore items to T underscore items. That's all. Done. Okay, so that's it. Yeah, I'll try to call the BAPI function model. So I just prepare the internal table. So while calling, create the sales order with header data and what? Item data. So let me try to pass. What is that I have to pass? The item data now, it is available under what section? Tables section. So if I go to tables section, this is the parameter now. While calling, tables will remain what? Tables. So order underscore items underscore in equal to, what is the internal table we prepared? T underscore what? Items. That's all. T underscore items. And rest of them will be same. I'm saving the changes to database and we are printing the return message. That's all. Okay, so what is the only change I've done with compared to the previous program? While creating the sales order, I am supplying the item data also through this particular parameter. Let's see whether this is sufficient to create the sales order along with the item data. Then execute this. F8. Good. What is that? Generated sales document number is what? 15440 it seems. 15440. Good. Yeah, you can see I got multiple messages, success, warnings. Okay, and what? Success again, so on. So see here, header is processed, item is processed. Some warning I got. Sales document is not yet complete. Actually, I'm passing only few fields, item number and material number. So it is not complete itself. That's why it is giving warning, but it has created. We are not passing the other data. So if you have information on other fields also, you can provide that. But anyhow, it is successfully created. What is that? 15440. 15440 is the sales document number. So this is 15440. So earlier, this sales document data was available only in the header table. Now, this sales document data should be available both in what? Header and item. Na? So first, let me check in header table. Number of entries. How many are there? 10,525. Right? Earlier 10,524. Now I got 10,000. What? 525. Done. Let me check that sales order. What is the sales order number? 15,440. So in the header table, I'll give that particular sales document number. Execute. Yes, it is created just now. Done. Okay. It is available in the VBAK table. Let me check in the item table. Earlier sales document, was not available in the item table. So if I go to number of entries, 18, 641. Yes, earlier only 640, now I got 18, 641. So item data is successfully created. What is the sales document number? 15, 440. Na? Let me check in the item table. Yes, this item table, VBAP. If I execute, yes, what is the material number I give? 578. It is picking some information internally, material descriptions, all those things. Good. Item number is what? 10. So what is the overall understanding we should have is, when you are working with any BAPI function models, we have to check the documentation and understand what are the minimum fields you have to provide. Okay, or else whatever the data is there in your file, we have to consider that particular fields. And how do you provide this data means, we have to coordinate with the functional consultant. When you're testing, we have to coordinate with the functional consultant and provide the appropriate data. In case if you don't have any function in the projects, you'll have it, but here at the time of practicing, what data you have to give means, the only thing is you have to go to the table, check in the existing entries in the both VBAK and VBAP, check what are the available partner role, partner number, the sales or distribution channel, take those combinations and try to put it in the program. Sometimes when you're creating the sales order, depending on your server, you may have different functional issues. So I cannot say that if you execute this program in your system, it may work. It may or may not work. It depends upon the functional configuration. In your system, might be this sales area is not defined. Okay, means this combination not there in, not configured in your system. So I may get an error saying that uh, sales area not configured, something message you'll get it. Means the sales order will not be created. It might return an error saying that so and so sales organization not defined. Suppose here I'll give something 1012. 1012. Let me check whether this works or not. When I execute, sales generated sales account number is space. What is happening here? Good. What is happening here? See, material 578. Understood? Material 578 is not defined for what? This combination. So this is a functional error. Am I clear? This is a functional issue. Means for this combination, for sales organization 1000, distribution channel 12, and the language DA, this material is not configured. So we have to take this issue with the functional consultant. He will do this necessary configuration in the T code SPRO. We are not bothered about that. Understood? So when you're working with the BAPIs, you may get this kind of errors. Not only this BAPI, in any of the BAPI, you may get some functional errors. So we have to what? Coordinate with the functional consultant. He will do the necessary configuration. Understood? Or he will suggest a different material number where that is assigned to particular sales area. So here also I get, after doing lots of R&D, I got this. Similarly, in your system also, to go to that VBAK and VBAP, check the available entries, try to give different combinations till you get the result. If you get these functional issues, the functional consultant has to configure that setting in the SPRO. That is nothing but the customization. So based on this BAPI only, I'll be discussing a concept called as BAPI extension. BAPI extension. So next class, so far we have in BAPIs, we have seen only how to work with the standard BAPIs. Sometimes your role as an ABAP consultant, we are responsible for extending the standard BAPIs, means enhancing the standard BAPIs. Means sometimes what happens is, suppose this is the header table. So in the header table, how many fields are given by SAP? 158. According to your customer requirement, you want some additional fields. So what you will do, you will enhance this table by adding what? Some additional fields. Okay, for that additional fields, we should be able to supply the data through this BAPI function model. Okay, so we have to consider some parameters here. If I go to import, anyway, we'll see that in the next session or in the tables. If you see here, we have something called as what? Extension. We have to read the documentation. You have to read the documentation and understand. You can see they give lots of documentation for that particular enhancement. We need to follow this documentation and do the extension. Okay, so we'll see couple of examples on BAPI extension. So as I told you last week or the beginning session of the BAPI, as an ABAP consultant, what are the objects you have to provide related to BAPI? You have to say that you work with standard BAPIs and you are involved in enhancing the standard BAPI, nothing but BAPI extension. So in the next two sessions, that is on Monday and Tuesday, next session will be on Monday. Monday and Tuesday we'll discuss BAPI extension. After that, we'll see how to create our own custom BAPI. Right? So any questions for today, please ask.
Hello. Hi, sir.
Yes, Keshav?
Sir, in this created sales order, the document type is showing as OR, but in our
Yeah,
program,
yeah. Here,
yeah.
internally, there is some conversion routine for that. So wherever I
Okay.
give T, it is converted to OR. OR indicates standard order.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
in the program I gave TA, but there might be some conversion routine defined for document type. So that is converting that TA to what? To OR. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Any other questions? Others? I repeat, it is not so easy. When you're practicing with the same data, you may not get it. You may get different functional errors. So one solution is functional consultant has to configure that. Otherwise, since we don't know how to do that configuration as an ABAP consultant, since we don't have authorization also for doing that, what you have to do is go to that table VBAK and VBAP, check the existing entries and try with different combinations, you'll get it. Okay. Even I also got many functional issues in different servers. Okay, so in one of the server, I was able to collect the data and I was able to do it. So in your system, if you provide the same thing as it is, you may not get that. Also, I'm saying you may get some functional issue because in your server, this customer number might not be configured, or this sales area might not be configured, or this material is not assigned to that particular that particular sales organization, distribution channel, and division. So you'll have different issues. So try with different entries. Go to VBAK and VBAP table, collect the existing entries, and keep on changing this till you get that. So based on this, next class we will see how to do the enhancements of standard BAPIs. So there are four things related to the BAPIs. One is working with standard BAPI as it is. Next is what enhancing the BAPI. Next is what creating the custom BAPI. And there is something called as BAPI modification. So we'll discuss all those things. As of now, we have discussed only standard BAPIs. Next session, that is on Monday, we'll start with BAPI extension. There only we will see how to enhance the standard tables, how to enhance the standard BAPIs. After that, when we get into enhancements concept, we will see how to enhance the transactions, standard transactions. Done? Any further questions? Sure then. So thank you everyone. We'll meet again on Monday.